Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my channel is mostly about travel and random adventures, but this video is about my trip to Door County, Wisconsin. It was my first time visiting and it was 4 days and 3 nights. And this trip was with my husband, me, and my two dogs. Since we're coming from Chicagoland, it was about a 5 hour trip, and we decided to stop in Cedarburg, Wisconsin because my aunt used to live here and I spent a lot of time here as a kid, and it was really nostalgic for me, and I always loved this little town. If you haven't been, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a historic little town on a river, and there's a bunch of little shops and boutiques, restaurants, and it's just a really nice little town, especially just to walk around in for a day. We got lunch here, and then we spent a couple of hours, and then we continued on our journey. We are in Door County, and we're spending 4 days, 3 nights in this area, and I've never been over here before, and I didn't really plan that much because this is kind of like a last minute trip. I just wanted to bring my dogs, Lukey, Stelly. Yeah. I just wanted to take a trip we wanted to bring our dogs on a trip because they haven't been anywhere in a while, probably like a year. So it's time for them to take a trip because they really love traveling. So we're done at Potawatomi State Park, and we're going to go to Peninsula State Park now, which is where we are sleeping for the next 3 nights. That's where we're staying at a campground. And I keep having to look at this map. Potawatomi State Park is really nice. They have a lot of really good like lookout points, but the water is like kind of dirty and not that nice. So I'd recommend coming here for the lookout tower and just like the views, but I wouldn't plan on like swimming here or anything. I don't even know if you can swim here. I don't really think there's any spots to swim. But yeah, it's been a really nice park. Before I left this park, I decided to go to the restroom, and I was walking down the trail right by the water, and I saw some deer that were sleeping. Well, they weren't sleeping, they looked like they were maybe eating or resting in the woods, and they were really cute. And then once we got closer to the campground we were staying at, I decided to get pierogies for dinner. I wasn't super hungry because I had a massive cheeseburger for lunch, and these pierogies were really good. I recommend stopping here if you just need like a snack. And this is Peninsula State Park. This is just a little pull off on the side of the road. After pulling over, we just went to our campsite and set up our tent for the night, and then we went back to watch the sunset at the lighthouse. And this is a really good spot to watch the sunset because it's like on the side of where the sun sets, and it was really pretty. As you can see, there's a storm rolling in at the same time that the sun is setting, and you could see lightning striking, and it was amazing. Definitely one of the best sunsets of my life. And then we went back to the campsite for the evening and lit a fire and made some s'mores. We're at Peninsula State Park and it's the next day, and we're going to go get coffee and then we're going to probably hike a trail or something. There's a trail that looks really cool. It has like a bluff, and I'm not really sure what else we're gonna do after that. We'll just have to see. We stopped at the Fish Creek Market, which was right by our campground in town, and we got coffee there. I got decaf because I don't drink caffeine, but sometimes I like coffee in the morning. And we took it down by the marina, and then we decided to go back to the market and get sandwiches for an early lunch because we were about to go hiking and we knew we would be hungry. And then we hiked the Eagle Bluff Trail, which is in Peninsula State Park. It's a pretty long trail that goes along the water, and there's really tall bluffs that you kind of walk alongside. And this trail is not super strenuous, but it is actually pretty strenuous, even though you're going on mostly flat land. And that's just because there are like pebbles and rocks and roots everywhere. So you're definitely like tripping around a lot. And I think this hike was really pretty, but it was a little bit scary walking under these bluffs because it kind of looked like rocks were gonna like fall on your head. And after that hike, we went to Piggly Wiggly to get some cheese curds and some pretzels, and they were both really good. And then we went to Pebble Beach because this beach allows dogs, and we were able to kind of like wade in the water for a little bit because it was really hot outside. And then we stopped at Ellison Bluff, which is much higher than it looks. I don't know why it doesn't look very high right now, but I promise it's really high up. For dinner, we got carryout from Wild Tomato, and my husband picked this pizza. I wasn't as much of a fan as he was, but he loved it. I really recommend the restaurant because we went there twice. And after that, we just went and watched the sunset at the Lookout Tower at Peninsula State Park. This lookout tower is really nice because it has a wheelchair ramp that goes all the way up. So if you can't do the stairs, it's really easy. The next morning, we discovered that our campground has its own food truck. I think it has two food trucks, but this one that we went to is a coffee food truck, and it's literally so convenient because it's just like steps away from the campground, and they also had a really good coffee. Good morning. Today, I think we are planning to go over to the restaurant where there's goats on the roof, and I don't think we can eat there because we have dogs. I think you can still go to the beer garden if you have dogs, but we don't really want any of the food that they serve there. So we're just gonna go see it, and then after that we're gonna go to a different park, but I'm not really sure which one yet. This restaurant is pretty well known in the Midwest, and I've been wanting to come here for years. It's a Swedish restaurant, and they have grass on the rooftops, and they let goats roam free so that they eat the grass. We weren't able to eat here because we had our dogs with us, but we did go in the gift shop and it was really good. They had so much cute stuff. I bought a few things and I really want to come back someday and eat inside the restaurant. On the way to Newport State Park, we stopped at a roadside farm stand and got these tart cherries. And then we explored Newport State Park. And this park has beautiful rocky coastline. The water wasn't really that clean for swimming, but the rocky shoreline was really, really pretty. And this park is also known for being like a dark sky park, so it's really good for stargazing. Unfortunately, we weren't here when it was dark out, but I definitely recommend looking into that. We decided not to visit Washington Island on this trip just because we didn't want to pay for the ferry and we didn't want to have to take our car on the ferry just because it was kind of expensive. And so we just drove this road down to where the ferry takes off, and it was super curvy and actually really cool. We got some cheese curds. You have to get cheese curds in Wisconsin, otherwise you're not actually in Wisconsin. And they're pretty good. This is a little park that overlooks Washington Island. You can see the lighthouse out there. I can't find it on the map and I don't know what it's called, but it's just like a little park on the north end of the peninsula of Door County. As you can see, there's a pelican floating out there. And on the way back to the campground, we stopped in this town. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's just a little bay. And we stopped at Wilson's restaurant for some ice cream, and they give you so much ice cream. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's definitely worth a stop. And then for dinner, we got more carryout pizza from Wild Tomato, and I wanted to try the Mediterranean one, which was really amazing. The next morning, we got more coffee from the coffee food truck, and then we packed up all of our stuff and our tent, and we had to go home, so we drove south and we stopped at the Cana Island Lighthouse. I bought a lighthouse passport, which is something I've been wanting for a while. It's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's a passport where you can visit different lighthouses around the country and you get a stamp at each lighthouse that you stop at. I don't think every lighthouse participates, but the ones that you can go inside do. We came across this beach that's by the lighthouse, and instead of sand, there's just shells, like broken up zebra mussels. And I've never seen a beach on the Great Lakes that's made of sand that's shell. This was just really unique. And then I went inside the lighthouse. You can visit all the rooms and then go up inside the area where the light is. I don't recommend wearing a skirt or a dress because the stairs have holes in them, but it was really pretty. The view was amazing, and we had to take turns because dogs aren't allowed in the lighthouse, but they are allowed on property. In Bailey's Harbor, I stopped at Chive's food truck and got a chicken sandwich, and it was really good. And then we went to Whitefish Dunes State Park just to go to the beach for a little bit because it was a really nice day. The water here was crystal clear and it was really good for swimming, but you had to walk like a mile and a half, I think, to get to the dog beach, and it was honestly really far. After hanging out here for a few hours, we went home, and that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.